Hi everyone, David here. Recently, YouTuber and Freedom Factory owner Cleetus McFarland entered his first NASCAR race, in which I had to question if we had actually entered a different dimension, where the person I met 10 years ago who was a parody of a NASCAR driver was now in fact a NASCAR driver.
AKA the fastest Ford in Florida.
And I think it is an absolute masterclass at marketing yourself. And honestly, one of the best decisions NASCAR has done in maybe 20 years by letting him actually compete.
And bam! Blew the front end right off my hot rod.
Right off the dome, this man knows the assignment. And most of us in the automotive YouTube community know that Garrett has the chops as a driver. That's never really been the issue. In my opinion, this isn't one of those marketing ploys where it's just taking somebody who's very famous online and throwing them in a situation that they're just simply not ready for or qualified for. He's qualified in the driving aspect and he's qualified in the marketing aspect. So I figured from my perspective, we could break down why I think this is one of the best things NASCAR's ever done for its sport and why I'm surprised they didn't do something like this sooner. So for some context, several years ago, NASCAR brought me along to film a few races. So I got to see like behind the scenes, how the cars are inspected, what the setups were, what the engine setups were, how the sport works, all that kind of stuff. And I actually watched NASCAR when I was a kid during kind of the glory days with Earnhardt Sr., Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Gordon. I know the sport, especially in the 90s, but after Dale Earnhardt Sr., it kind of goes down the drain for me, to be honest with you. So when I went to NASCAR, it was when Chase Elliott was just coming onto the scene and he was taking on the 24 mantle from Jeff Gordon. No pressure. And one of the biggest questions I was asked at dinner was, how do you think we can revitalize or get younger people or just more people into NASCAR? Because NASCAR viewership wasn't phenomenal then. And at the time, I don't really think any answer was clear. And the racing kind of felt really safe. It didn't feel like really intense like the old days where people are bumping into each other and things are crazy and people are fighting in the pits, you know? And at the time, Drive to Survive for F1 had really started to take off, so the resurgence of F1 in America was kind of overshadowing NASCAR anyway. Even though these cars are going basically 190 miles an hour, 200 miles an hour sometimes, it still felt boring. I think it's because there was no one to truly follow that had the personas, which F1 had done amazing with Drive to Survive.
Then you change your car because Checo has been saying the car is.
It got you invested in the drivers themselves and not just the sport itself. There's a reason why people talk about the Chicago Bulls and basketball all these years later. It's because of the people like Michael Jordan. Sure, they won a bunch, but the story was way more interesting from a human level. But basically the answer to their question, I said, was maybe make the filming more interesting. I thought the filming of NASCAR was very dull and boring. I also said maybe make the cars a little bit more modernized. Or just go watch Australian Supercar and just let them go absolutely crazy and hit each other the whole time. So that was kind of like my consensus was, you gotta do something to get people invested. The last thing you need is a Monte Carlo style event every single time where somebody gets pole position and they basically win every single time. That's what really destroys watching racing. It's just not exciting. However, the topic of bringing more famous drivers into the series was a topic of discussion. Now, at the time, I don't think that NASCAR was thinking of YouTubers or influencers racing in their events, which now in hindsight, seems pretty crazy when the answer kind of seems kind of right in front of you marketing wise. I mean, pretty much the only big headline NASCAR had had in years was when that brave soul hit the wall, floored it, and rode the wall around his competitors. That was the coolest thing in NASCAR at the time and was banned immediately. But when it comes to influencers or YouTubers being in a race, Garrett had already beat NASCAR to the punch. By owning the Freedom Factory, he had a blank canvas to do this. And by creating a series like the Freedom 500 that had relatable cars that you and I could go to an auction and go by, not some multi-million-dollar race team like in NASCAR, let alone Formula One or something. And this all obviously sent Garrett into the stratosphere. It was a big, big bet to buy this racetrack, and it's really worked out for him. All because of a character he made up on the spot with Kyle Loftus at 1320 Video a decade ago. One moment can change your whole life. And what's so funny about this is in 2017, I actually did a beater car road trip with him.
You're out of luck on this one, buddy.
Dude, I've been out of luck this entire trip. Where we got beater cars for like 500 bucks. I pit maneuvered his Crown Victoria with a Lincoln Town car. Talk about foreshadowing. Good morning, guys. Dave here once again. Cletus, are you freaking serious?
It looks amazing. Who wouldn't want to drive this?
Of course, his selection of a beater car was a mint Crown Victoria, but he kept saying the line, "I'm doing it for Dale," over and over and over again. Cletus McFarland here.
Do it for Dale. Dustin over there is fine though. He's just wearing the Do It for Dale helmet.
And one small part of me said, is this going to get old for an audience? You know, saying these NASCAR type of catchphrases and jokes over and over and over again. Boy, was I wrong. Instead of just being reliant on saying that one phrase, he just expanded the character. From a buttoned-up law school student to being a Florida good old boy character. So why is this so good for NASCAR? One is easy. It's the numbers. Garrett has a massive audience. You could kind of compare this to Adam LZ joining Formula Drift, where it is undeniable how many audience members came to the live streams after Adam entered FD, where his loyal fans would spam in the chat, "Has LZ gone yet? Has Adam gone yet?" And it became an inside joke in the FD community from how loyal his fans were. But that's engagement. That brought more people there to talk in the chat and distribute the product more. So FD got a huge boost from Adam entering Formula Drift. It's undeniable. Now, if you could take a niche motorsport like Formula Drift and get it much bigger with, say, one YouTuber, the natural progression is to try that with another motorsport that is maybe suffering. And it also brings a persona that the internet is already familiar with. It feels like the audience has been on the journey with this person all this time to eventually become a NASCAR driver, rather than I'm just a NASCAR driver. It's a big difference. Even though there could be some amazing rookie out there with an amazing underdog story, Garrett has an advantage because the internet already knows who he is. The persona doesn't have to be earned anymore because it's already been earned over a decade of work. Also, since Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s passing, there's been a huge vacancy in storylines in the NASCAR realm, in my opinion. NASCAR now has a new story to follow. In fact, according to Kyle Loftus of 1320 himself, it was the first NASCAR race he had ever watched all the way through. And it was just because his good friend Garrett was behind the wheel of one of those cars, because it makes for a good story. And Kyle is a die-hard motorsports guy. He films cars for a living, and that was his first NASCAR race. What does that tell you about the series? Side note, NASCAR in person is way more fun. On TV, it's kind of rough to watch, not gonna lie, but it is way more fun in person. I have a feeling attendance is gonna go up to see Garrett drive around as well. I also find it fitting that the parody of Dale Earnhardt's Biggest Fan started his NASCAR career at Daytona. Very poetic. He's making the Gulf of America proud, baby. I do think the probation of Cletus is pretty dumb, but at the same time, it's good for marketing for Garrett because it makes it even more of an underdog story of him coming back from probation. The system screwed the man over, and he's gonna come back with a vengeance, and everyone's gonna be watching. It's a win-win situation for Garrett. Like, there's no way out of it. And that's why I think bringing Garrett on for this race was the best thing NASCAR has done in maybe 2 decades. What are your thoughts about all this? Do you think it was smart for Cletus to go into NASCAR, or as a marketing thing? Do you think it was the smart thing to do? And Garrett, if you're watching, I'm proud of you. Good job. Proud of you for doing all this stuff. It's been amazing to see you grow, and I'll see you all next time, and take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.